The rich, savory scent of herbs and tomatoes clung to the warm air of the kitchen. A young woman inhaled deeply, closing her eyes as a faint, contented smile touched her lips. Before her, in a heavy cast-iron pot, her concoction simmered with a low, rhythmic plop, plop. It was a special recipe, one that required patience, the right ingredients, and a specific mood. The mood tonight was one of quiet anticipation. She gave the pot a final, slow stir with a long wooden spoon, then turned the electric stove's dial with a soft click. The blue flame beneath shrank to a tiny, whispering corona. Time to let the flavors marry. She carefully untied her clean kitchen apron, folded it, and placed it on the marble counter. From a peg by the door, she took down another apron. This one was older, made of a thick stained leather that sighed softly as she put it on. Its weight was familiar, a second skin. From the adjoining room, a space meant to be a pantry or a mudroom, came a sound. A dull, persistent thud like a heel tapping a frantic, muted rhythm against a wooden floor. The woman's head tilted, listening. The smile didn't leave her face, it simply settled, becoming a fixed, thoughtful expression. She moved to the sink, the tap squeaking in protest before releasing a stream of cold, clear water. She washed her hands with methodical care, watching the water spiral down the drain. For a fleeting second, it carried away minuscule flecks of something dark. Black pepper, perhaps, or flecks of dried herb, or something else that clung stubbornly under a fingernail. She rinsed until her skin felt raw and clean, then dried each finger meticulously on a striped towel. The thudding from the other room grew more insistent, more panicked. The woman took a deep, steadying breath, savoring the mingling aromas of basil, garlic, and iron-rich earth from outside. Then she walked towards the sound. Her heels were precise metronomes on the polished pine floor. Click, clack, click, clack. Each step severed the tense silence of the cabin. The room she entered was Spartan, lit by a single hanging bulb that cast long, dramatic shadows. In the corner, partly swallowed by those shadows, was the source of the noise. A boy, young and fair-haired, strained against the ropes that bound him to a heavy chair. A strip of gray cloth, damp with saliva, was pulled tight across his mouth. His wide cyan eyes were liquid with terror, fixed on her. They darted for a moment to the floor beside his chair, where a small, jagged sliver of metal, a broken blade from a garden sickle, lay just beyond his bleeding fingertips. He'd been trying to reach it, to saw through his bonds. A valiant, adorable effort. The woman didn't scold him. She didn't speak at all. Her calm was more terrifying than any shout. She walked past him, her leather apron brushing his knee, and went to the far wall. Here, a collection of tools hung in neat, orderly rows. Gardening shears, a small hatchet, various knives for boning and filleting. Her fingers hovered, then selected two slender matching daggers with polished bone handles. She took them down and turned to face the boy, her back to the light. The only sound now was the soft, grating shink-shink as she drew the blades against each other, sharpening them in long, smooth strokes. The sound was rhythmic, hypnotic. She watched him over the crossed steel, her head tilted in bird-like curiosity. His chest hitched with silent sobs. A clownish wide grin slowly stretched her lips, devoid of any warmth or humor. It was a mask of pure clinical amusement. Then her eyes flicked to the broken metal shard. The grin dissolved, replaced by a sharp frown of displeasure. That old sickle. It had been a favorite until it snapped. Unreliable, sloppy. A tool that breaks is a disappointment. In one fluid motion, she placed the daggers back on the wall. Her hand went to a longer object resting on a stand. A katana in a plain wooden sheath. She didn't draw it. She simply held the sheathed weapon loosely at her side, like a teacher holding a pointer. She took a single step closer to the boy, her shadow falling over him completely. He whimpered, pressing himself into the chair as if hoping to dissolve into the wood. She leaned down, bringing her face close to his. She could smell his fear, sour and sharp. "Shh," she whispered, her voice a velvet murmur. "The noise, it spoils the appetite." Her free hand reached out and gently, almost tenderly, brushed a strand of sweaty hair from his forehead. He flinched as if burned. She straightened up, her expression unreadable. The moment hung, suspended in dread. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The sound of gravel under sneakers was cheerful, out of place on the lonely forest trail. Jenny, a girl of 8 with wild black hair tangled with twigs, was exploring. She loved this time of day when long shadows made familiar paths look strange and new. Up ahead, a movement caught her eye. A small boy was crouched by a large moss-covered boulder, his shoulders shaking. As she approached, slowing her skip to a walk, she saw the state of him. His shorts were torn. His oversized light blue shirt was smeared with dirt, and his face was a tragic canvas of dried tears and fresh tracks. "Hey," Jenny said, her voice friendly but not overly sweet. "You okay?" The boy, Lucius, jumped. His hazel eyes were red-rimmed and enormous. "I can't find my mom," he choked out, a fresh wave of tears welling up. "We were playing. I threw a rock at a nest, but it hit her. She fell into the creek. She's just lying there. The water's all wrong." His voice dropped to a horrified whisper. "She won't answer me." Jenny listened, her head cocked. A tragic accident. How interesting. She knelt in front of him, her own knees getting dirty. She didn't mind. "That's really, really sad," she said, and she meant it. Sadness was a fascinating, powerful thing to watch. "What's your name?" "Lucius." "I'm Jenny. You know Lucius," she said, her tone shifting to one of practical comfort. "You don't have to be alone. My mom and I, we live just through those trees. We help people who get lost." She leaned in conspiratorially. "We could be your new family. Would you like that? To have a sister?" Lucius stared at her, confusion battling with desperate hope. "A new family?" "Uh-huh. My mom's the best. She's making a special dinner tonight." Jenny smiled, a genuine gap-toothed smile. "And I've always wanted a brother." The mention of dinner made Lucius's stomach emit a low, pathetic growl. He flushed with embarrassment. What's for dinner?" Jenny's smile widened. "Spaghetti. It's her secret recipe, the best thing you'll ever taste." She held out her hand. "Come on, let's go home." Back at the cabin, the woman's keen ears caught the distinct sound of the back door opening, the creak of the hinge, the scuff of small feet on the mat. In one seamless, practiced motion, she returned the sheathed katana to its stand, slipped the leather apron from her shoulders and hid it behind a curtain, and smoothed the front of her ordinary cotton apron. She was the picture of domestic calm as she turned, a welcoming smile already painted on her face. Her daughter Jenny burst into the kitchen, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Mommy, look who I found!" And there he was, a small, forlorn figure clinging to Jenny's hand, dirty, tear-stained, and radiating a potent mix of grief and innocent trust. Fresh, lost, perfect. "Well, hello there, little traveler," the woman said, her voice a warm melody as she knelt. "You must be exhausted. What's your name?" "Lucius," he whispered, his eyes taking in the cozy kitchen, the simmering pot, the kind-faced woman. "Jenny says you've had a very hard day," the woman said, her eyes softening with what looked like profound empathy. She opened her arms slightly, an invitation. After a moment's hesitation, Lucius stumbled forward into the hug. He was so small, so light. She could feel his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. She held him, rocking gently. "Shh. You're safe now. You're home." She pulled back, holding his small face in her hands, her thumbs wiping away the grimy tears. "We'll take care of everything. We'll bring your mother here, give her a proper rest. You can say goodbye, it's important. It's called closure." Lucius nodded, a shaky breath escaping him. "Closure," he repeated, the word unfamiliar but comforting. "Now," the woman said, standing and taking his hand, "you must be starving. Jenny, why don't you take Lucius and get washed up? Find him some clean clothes. Dinner will be ready soon." As the children's footsteps pattered down the hallway, the woman's serene expression didn't change, but the light in her eyes hardened into something sharp and glittering. She turned back to her pot, giving it a slow stir. The sauce was thickening beautifully, a deep, rich crimson. The special ingredients had melded perfectly. She glanced out the window. The moon was rising, a swollen orb glowing with a faint coppery tint on the horizon. A blood moon. How wonderfully appropriate. From the other room, the house was silent, perfectly, utterly silent. The preparation was complete. The main ingredients were simmering. And the new, unexpected ingredient, young, tender, and seasoned with trauma, had just walked right in. It was going to be a truly memorable family meal. She began to hum, a tuneless buzzing sound as she set the table for three.